Hi everybody, it's Richard here and welcome to another video. This is inbox number 11 where I show some of my new vinyl finds and some second hand. And recently, whenever I've been doing these, I've always thrown in a couple of £1 purchases at the end, which always seem to be the star of the show for me. But we'll start off with the new vinyl, and the first one is this is Fleetwood Mac's Then Play On. It's Peter Green's third and final album with Fleetwood Mac. Now, I will openly admit I'm not the biggest blues fan in the world. So, and it is a blues album, but it's slightly different. There is a bit of a pop sort of sensibility through the whole of this. I think part of the reason is that although Peter Green writes about 6 songs or so on this, he's not the chief songwriter. That goes to Danny Kirwan, who actually wrote a few more than Green. And there's some fantastic songs on this, like Peter Green's own Closing My Eyes, Closing My Eyes is a fantastic song. But Danny Kirwan's Coming Your Way and Although the Sun is Shining are absolutely wonderful. As I say, not a huge blues fan, but whenever it's sort of mixed in with the pop, it sounds really good. And this is one of my favourite Fleetwood Mac albums of all time. It's that good. So that is Then Play On from 1969. I also got another Mac album, and this is from 71, and this is, sorry about the glare there, this is Future Games. Now obviously Green had left by this time, but Danny Kirwan was the chief songwriter, and 2 of his songs here in particular, Sands of Time and Woman of 1,000 Years, are absolutely wonderful. It's the first time Christine McVie's songs got on the album with what's it called? There's one Show Me a Smile, so I had to write it down there. And it's very good as well. And of course Bob Welch. Now this is important because it's Bob Welch's first album with Fleetwood Mac, and he's the most underrated songwriter of the band ever. And he did the actual title track for this, and the Bob Welch years, as I tend to call the wilderness years, I think are better than the Peter Green years, to be quite honest with you. I just love the Bob Welch, and for some reason it shouldn't fit with me because it's that sort of early 70s sort of almost soft rock, Crosby, Stills and Nashy type sound, which I would tend to find a little bit tedious and boring. But for some reason those Fleetwood Mac albums with Bob Welch, like Future Games, Mystery to Me, Penguin, Bare Trees, I think are brilliant. This is new vinyl, and to buy this on original, this would cost a fortune. Well, not a fortune, but far too much money. I have this in CD, and for some reason the CD cover is a green cover, but I think the yellow looks better. Another new vinyl I got is the Monkey's Head. I've heard so much about this. I heard that it's really, really weird, and I played it and it is really, really weird, but it's really, really good. And when playing this, it went in so quickly. It must be a very short album because it was no time at all till this was finished. I knew the Porpoise song, which I liked, but the overall album listening is great. It's not one of those where you would pick out individual tracks. You won't find your Last Train to Clarksville or I'm a Believer on this, or Daydream Believer, but this is a very, very good album. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So this is the Monkey's Head. Now I bought this in my local record shop, and this is not the last issue. He had 2 issues. This was one from about 2015 with the sort of the mirror type cover. The new one's just a grey cover, and it was more expensive, but this looks far, far better. So that's the Monkey's Head. Bob Dylan, Love and Theft. I bought, and I showed the Time Out of Mind album in the last inbox. So impressed with it, and I also love this album, and this was going at a decent enough price for a double album. So yeah, I thought go for this as well. And some really, really good songs on this, like Mississippi, Summer Days, Lonesome Day Blues, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I think anything Bob Dylan did between 1997 and just before Tempest, just before he started doing those American songbook things, are all fantastic albums. So Love and Theft, great to have this in vinyl. Bob Dylan, and I probably will get the other ones as well. The one I really fancy, I think, is it Modern Man or Modern Music, something like that. Never had this in vinyl. I've got all Iggy Pop's 70s and 80s albums, but never actually had this. And I saw this at a record fair at a decent price. This is a double reissue, and I always felt that this was an album that everyone said they liked, but it wasn't always that great. I've never heard it. I do have a compilation of the first two albums, which I thought would be enough, but I saw this, went for it, and I really enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed the We Will Fall, the 10-minute song on side one. I obviously knew No Fun. Well, I first heard that as the B-side to Pretty Vacant by the Sex Pistols. 1969 is great, and of course I Want to Be Your Dog, which every man and his dog has actually covered. But this is a really, really good album, and I look forward to seeking out the second one, Funhouse. So that's the Stooges, the debut, and I think this is from '69. So we'll get on to some second hand, and I found this at a relatively cheap price, and this is the Pretenders' Last of Independence from 1994. And this has got I'll Stand By You on it, as well as 977, Hollywood Perfume, and Night in My Veins. It also has a very shortened version of the beautiful Tequila, which I think was recorded around the time of the Get Close sessions. But this is a good album. I was never keen on this. I had this in CD, and there's something about vinyl, I don't know what it is. It's not the sound, it's the fact that it's split into two sides, like into two parts, that makes this much more attractive. And whenever I played this, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, and I know that if I had just put the CD on, I would have probably switched it off after about the fourth or fifth song. But this is good, Last of Independence, and it's good to have it on vinyl to add to the Pretenders collection. A few greatest hits albums from 80s bands I bought, and this was quite cheap as well, and this is Duran Duran's Decade. And you can't go wrong with side one and half of side two in this. Everything from Planet Earth up to A View to a Kill, I think, is really, really strong. It's just the last few songs from Notorious to All She Wants Is, which just don't really do it for me. The only thing I will say is there are a couple of songs missing here which I'd love to have been on this, which is My Own Way and New Moon and Monday, or even Careless Memories as well. But it's still a pretty good album, and it's good to have a vinyl to have those major hit singles all on the one record. Do these greatest hits first from the 80s. Soft Cell, the singles. This is very concise. This has only got 10 songs on it, every single from Memorabilia up to and including Down in the Subway. Great songs like Tainted Love, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye, Bedsitter, Torch, What, Soul Inside, Where the Heart Is. Love it. Very, very, very strong album. The only thing I'm missing is Numbers was released, I believe, as a double A side with a song called Barriers, and it's not on it. In fact, I've never heard the song Barriers because it wasn't on the album The Art of Falling Apart either. But yeah, this is good, and as I say, good to have all the singles in one set. And another one, OMD, the best of OMD, and this was relatively cheap as well, although this does go for two-figure numbers now. Electricity, Messages, Enola Gay, Souvenir, Joan of Arc, all fantastic songs. It goes up to The Dreaming in 1989, which just Dreaming, sorry, and it's probably the worst song on the album. Again, a couple of omissions, like there's nothing from the Dazzle Ships album, so there's no Genetic Engineering or Telegraph, but it's still a very strong album, and it's again nice to have all the singles in one album. Okay. This was influenced by Rob Walker, who made a comment on one of my last videos about guilty pleasures, and he was surprised he didn't see this group as one of my guilty pleasures. And as soon as he said it, I just thought to myself, I have to get that album, because it's sort of my thing as well. I am wild for guilty pleasures, and this is Baccarat, and this is really, really good. It's Euro disco and it's fantastic. Yes, Sir I Can Boogie and Sorry I'm a Lady are the two hit singles off this, but what a cover. Don't they look gorgeous? And even in the back in the black and white, I can even look better. But I saw this for next to nothing, and I thought, right, this is coming home with me. And I've actually played this a couple of times and thoroughly enjoyed it. They do a beautiful version of Elvis's Can't Help Falling in Love in this. But yeah, it is a guilty pleasure album, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And thanks, Rob, for reminding me about these two. The Beach Boys live in London, and this is on the wonderful Music for Pleasure label. Yeah, this is a really good set. This I think came out in Capitol in about 1970 or 1969, something like that. And this is a really good sort of, it's like a greatest hits live set, but there's a few songs like Wake the World and Aren't You Glad thrown in it as well. They're in fine form. It's recorded extremely well. It sounds really good. And I played this the other day as well. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I say, it's on the only budget label that I really, really like, and that's Music for Pleasure. So it's the Beach Boys live in London. I bought this because it's to add to my XTC collection, and it was going relatively cheap. Oranges and Lemons with the Great Mirror of Simpleton on it, and King for a Day. It's not my favourite XTC album. It's probably actually my least favourite, but it's getting scarcer and scarcer to get in vinyl. I know in my luck it'll be reissued at about 15 to 20 pounds, but I paid under 20 quid for this, and I thought this is now the time to pick it up, because somebody else will snap it up, and whenever I do want to get it, it'll be about £40. So this is Oranges and Lemons. Got it for just not to complete the vinyl XTC, because I'm still missing one, and that's None Such, and I'll have to wait for a reissue in it because it's far too expensive at the moment. But still, good album, not the best, but glad to have it. And a bit of glam rock and the greatest hits, and this is the Glitter Band's greatest hits. This was released I think around 1976 and features all their hit singles, and this is really, really good. It doesn't feature You Know Who at all, but some of the songs like Angel Face is an absolute brilliant song, and Belfast Band in 1980 did a cover of it. They were called The Outcasts, and it's a very good cover as well, but nothing beats the Glitter Band's original. Just for You, People Like You, People Like Me, Let's Get Together Again, Goodbye My Love, The Tears I Cried are all really good glam rock stable singles. But the one song I really like on this is Love in the Sun, which has got a note like the Beach Boys, and it's a really excellent song. So it's good to have that to add to my glam collection. You know, I am a real glamster at heart. Proper glam, UK glam from the early 70s. So that's the Glitter Band's greatest hits. Okay, finishing off with two £1 fines. One is crap, but I thought I would buy it because there's a couple of songs I do like on it, and it's only £1, and it's a good nick. And this is Opportunity Knocks, All Winners. This is the Huey Green show from the 70s, and it features Peters and Lee, Welcome Home, which I've always loved, and Paper Lace's Billy Don't Be a Hero. But probably one of the reasons I bought this is because there's a song on this here called Mother of Mine, which my brother had when he was a kid, by Neil Reid, and it's so sickly sweet you would actually need a bucket to throw up into, and I wanted to hear that again. And as I say, it's only £1 and it's some really good nick, so I thought, why not? So that's Opportunity Knocks, All Winners. So yeah, half a guilty pleasure in this one because I do admit some of it's pretty rubbish. But the one that really stood out and I got for £1, and you know sometimes whenever you look at all your records and you think you want to play something and there's nothing there, it's a wee bit like Bruce Springsteen's song 57 channels and nothing on. And I saw this and I thought, I'm going to pick this up, you know, because I know I will want to play this at some stage. And I played it that day and it really lifted my spirits. I thought it was fantastic. And that's the unforgettable Glenn Miller. I have nothing like this in my collection. And although by reading the track listing, which I can't see in the back here, I knew In the Mood, obviously, and Chattanooga Choo Choo, I think that's what you say. But whenever I played this, I recognised most of this album, and it was brilliant. It actually was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this will get played again. This is a real spirits lifter, really is, for £1. And it's on the RCA Victor label, which is always a bonus. A little bit like the Baccarat album, it's on the orange RCA Victor label, which is great. So that's the unforgettable Glenn Miller, and that'll sit nicely in my collection. So that's it for recent finds. I've bought a few more, but I'll leave them for the next one. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. So that's me for now. All the best. Bye bye.